I'm just a regular guy. I'm a dad. Uh, I've got girls and boys, and we've got the challenges of raising a family. Um, I'm not a rich guy. Grew up in a rich family. As parents of 10 kids, from age 11 to 38, we have a front row seat into the challenges of really multiple generations. Some of our kids have made it and they're doing great. Some of our kids are challenged and they're having to struggle a little bit. And like every other parent out there, we're having to help folks. I cannot tell you how many people I meet whose 38-year-old son is still living with them. And, there was a time in this country that didn't exist in that way. In today's world, in our society, it's for a statistic that a 30-year-old fan is actually worse off than his father was at his age of 30. Affordability is one thing that we hear most of. We go from place to place, and one of the questions that we ask is, what's the thing that bothers you the most? What is the one thing that we can focus on? If you had to tell your congressman one thing to go and fix and help with, what would that be? And it's really affordable. And I know it's a very broad term. Maybe not 7.25, but even $10 or $12 an hour. You have a hard time making ends meet. And if you're a single mom, you're going to have to work two jobs. And if you're going to work two jobs as a single mom, how are you going to teach your kid after school? How are you going to help them with their? And so there's this trickle down effect. And so to put more money in people's pockets will free up their time to do different things. As we meet people, they all generally want the same thing. They want to live in a safe neighborhood. They want to go to a good job that pays decent wages, and they want to have a little bit of money left over. They want to drive a car that doesn't break down every 2 weeks. It's the simple things in life. They want to live the life in the way they want to live their life. They don't want government overreach. They don't want the government to have to dictate or have dominion over a woman's body. We want to make sure that our kids are protected. There's a lot of conversation about the Second Amendment, and it's a debate that's going to go on probably for as long as our country's around. But I think we can all agree that we should protect ourselves. We should protect our kids. There should be no way that our kids are having active shooter drills in schools. We're one of the richest countries in the world. There is no reason that we should have 12% of our country living in poverty. And when you get to some of our inner cities, Memphis, for example, the poverty rate's 24%. It's twice the national average. And in Shelby County, 1 out of every 3 kids is living in poverty. We can do better. And, for me personally, to go back and figure out how a congressman can hold a hand out and help people up, access to affordable health care is a critical part of someone's life. We shouldn't have to decide whether or not we can afford to go to the doctor. We had a good friend of ours that he and his wife had a baby, and the baby had to spend 16 days in NICU. And with insurance, his hospital bill was $165,000. And how in the world are you going to pay off $165,000 over your lifetime when he has good insurance? Imagine if you don't have insurance. We shouldn't have our seniors have to wonder if they have to buy groceries or buy their medicine. I'm a believer in universal health care. I know maybe some people say that's a kind of see idea, but I don't believe so. We just have to figure out where we want to spend our money and then have the courage to go out and do that. Affordable healthcare means healthcare for everyone, not just for some. Immigration is a hot topic. And, first I'll say that most everyone in this country immigrated at one time or another. I'm a second generation American. My grandparents came here with their parents through Ellis Island. My great grandfather had $24 in his pocket. And when you think about $24 in today's terms, it's about $800. So imagine landing in a foreign country where you don't speak the language with $800. You got to have some moxie. But we came together as a country to help one another. I believe in fair immigration. I believe in secure borders. We can't have a porous border. We can't expel the worst of the worst, expect them not to come back to a porous border. So I do agree that we should have a border security. Again, it's a lot of money. You just have to decide what are we going to spend our money on. Let's secure our borders, and then let's make immigration fair. My grandparents came in, the border was the ocean, was the Atlantic Ocean. And, today our southern border is so porous that we can't control who comes over, who doesn't. Once we do that, Let's make it fair. The folks that are in this country that may have fled from violence, we should treat them with respect and dignity. And there was a time in our country where we did that quite a bit. If you're in this country and you want to have the citizenship, we should help you get there. We should not be showing up at a detention center or we should not be showing up at a legal center where people are trying to do the right thing and go through the legal process of becoming a citizen. We're having them deporting them. I think that's completely inhumane. And so we have to get back to our humanity as a country. As we're making this traverse across 200 miles of District 9, we're finding that a lot of people have more in common than we don't. And it's less about left versus right than it is about the very top versus the rest of us. Regardless of who's in power, that's the benchmark that we should use as Americans. My mom once told me that if you don't like something, don't complain. Go out, change it. Go out and be the change you want to see. And so that's what I'm doing. My life's work has been to help people and give back to others. I'm Jim Torino, and I approve this message. This message is being paid for by Jim Torino for Congress.